Well, I
And
think for Charlie, like, and I don't know him, I'm not gonna speak for him, but he was going out and sitting amongst these crowds however often. I mean, every day he was taking this risk.
feel like I say it to myself a lot, and I tell you very often. Like, there are a lot of people in the world that would trade our worst day for their best day.
This is for our purpose.
Right.
There was a gentleman taken from this world that died for his purpose
Yeah.
in life, and that's all I need to know.
Before we begin, we want to acknowledge the heartbreaking events of this past week, including the tragic death of Charlie Kirk. Our condolences go out to his family, loved ones, and the communities affected. If you're struggling, please remember, help is available by calling or texting 988. We felt it was important to address this because of how it affected our day here in the office and how it's impacting people across the country.
So, welcome back to AFG Update. I'm Mike Longo, and we're here with Chelsea Davis. This episode's going to be a little bit different. I mean, we're going to touch on a lot of the normal things that we do in the business world, and talk about things that are relevant in our kind of normal topic. But we're filming this on Friday. What are we? September 12th.
Yeah.
And the last couple days have been a little crazy. I mean, Chelsea, you and I kind of started this adventure a couple months ago of like putting this podcast together, and obviously somebody that has been doing this for years was kind of tragically taken from the world 2 days ago. And Charlie Kirk, we kind of wish your family the best, rest in peace, and we hope the best for again your family and everybody around you. And just somebody that started like out of their garage. I was
Right.
reading more about like how this whole thing started.
18.
Yeah, 18 years old, started out of his garage, started going to college campuses, and really the grassroots effort of what he's doing, and kind of like what we're doing now of just like talking and putting stuff out there, and maybe it'll get traction and maybe people will watch it, but just puts it all into a very different perspective now that we've started to do this. And like, it's tough to like put yourself out in the public eye. Like, we're talking, we're having fun, and people are interacting, and it's good, but like never imagining getting to the point where there's that many people that actually care about what we say, or us becoming like targeted or polarizing in a way of like having people love us or hate us for just something that we're passionate about.
The
And
good and bad of going viral.
right. And it's just yeah, it's a very like somber feeling. It's a very surreal thing to kind of see this. I don't want to say more on a regular basis, but there was, I think it was a week or two ago, where there was another tragedy that happened on a train where just an innocent victim was stabbed, and her life was taken. And it's all like right there on social media. Wednesday afternoon, our office stopped, and people were coming in the conference room in people's offices saying, "Hey, did you see this video, or did you see what happened?" And it's I mean, it's terrifying that everything is on camera in real time of what is going on, and there's no real like filter of who can see it, who can't see it, and kind of how it gets to us.
Well, and so all of the social media posts about, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, or like, more of the trying to exemplify the individual he was, those types of posts, those all landed on the internet 9/11.
Right.
Well, in '01, when 9/11 occurred, we didn't have a lot of cell phones going on. There wasn't the social media. So, one thing I kind of noticed was I'm a big proponent in remembering 9/11.
Yeah.
I don't post about it necessarily, but in my heart, during
Yeah.
the day, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And, so the fact that I don't want to say 9/11 was overshadowed at all by the Charlie Kirk incident. I will say, though, I feel like because there's less pictures and less documented imagery of people's accounts of 9/11, there was a lot less 9/11 feed for me. I was
For
just
sure.
blasted with Charlie Kirk news, which is fine. But it was interesting to note that because there was like live video of Charlie Kirk and all
Right.
these like
Yeah.
flashbacks of him, my feed or my algorithm, I guess, was just all on Charlie.
Yeah.
No 9/11 stuff.
And it's crazy. I mean, we are not that old, as much as we joke about it on here of acting like we're in our 60s and our boring lifestyles and things like that. But I vividly remember George Washington being in New York and throwing out, or not George Bush.
I'm like, wait,
No,
I don't
no, no,
remember
no,
this.
no, no. George Bush going into Yankee Stadium and throwing out the first pitch for that game.
Oh, okay.
And there were some videos of that and cameos, and you look back and like the video's so grainy,
Yeah.
and like I'm like, this wasn't that long ago, and it was like ultra standard definition and just low quality. And then you see something like the video from the other day where these are being shot from a cell phone and it's ultra high def. You see every single thing that's happening, people running like
Yeah.
crazy, and it's just really the the magnitude of kind of real time information versus stuff that happened not so long ago, and how much a younger generation that wasn't around for 9/11 will remember things like this
Right.
that are somewhat isolated compared to like a giant event that is kind of foreshadowed.
So reality check to the young people, or just kind of a, hey, FYI, you'll actually find videos. If anyone were to go into the archives of 9/11, you will find videos of people that were taking pictures and smiling, or maybe peace signing or hanging with
Yeah.
their friends in front of the Twin Towers when it was going on. They weren't rude. They weren't malicious. They didn't know what was going on. There was no social media to
Right.
show, hey, they wouldn't have even if they saw a plane go in, I don't even know anyone would have assumed there was a hijacking occurring. It was
Right.
just people were living in New York. They saw a big cloud of smoke. And like I said, if you go back into the archive, you can actually find videos of people who just innocently didn't know what was going on. And they were filming themselves or taking videos or talking to their friends like, I'm not sure what's going on. We got to go. We can't go up here this way. That's not happening anymore. There used to be a time in life where big things were going on. You didn't know what it meant.
Right.
And you just lived your life accordingly. That didn't make you a bad person.
Right.
You just didn't know what was happening. Now, today, I don't want to say there's no more excuse, because that's not the message, but we get all the information so quickly.
Yeah.
Real time. I mean, the fact that, I think it was 5 or 6 hours and they were releasing the video footage of the potential suspect of who
Right.
committed the crime. So it's a lot to take in. Every time you open your phone, there's something new, right? And you can't get away from it. I mean, it's a drug. Like, I want to see the next video where they show the potential shooter running across the top of the roof, and then, now they have what his t-shirt looked like, and and now we can, I mean, and I don't want to see this stuff. No. I don't want to see this stuff. It's a drug, and they know it's getting them the views, right? And so they're posting these things. It's frustrating.
It is.
But it's also, if it's something, from a learning aspect, I love having things in real time because I want to find things out. I want to know how the world works. And, I was once younger and I'm naive and I don't really get how everything functions. And so to have all this access to the media providing that information to me so I can learn, that's one thing. But at what cost?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you think about all of that stuff without the social media, without all of these cameras, without all of the technology that we have. Do they find that guy as quickly as they do? Does he get away? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you look back 10, 15, 20 years ago, it took days or weeks to find people, and maybe they didn't.
Well, there's some serial killers that are on Netflix series from the
Right.
70s that I know were never found, or,
Right.
because of the lack of, or, the unfound science at the time, they're solving crimes today that occurred in the 90s, and they can do DNA and I mean,
Yeah.
it's all catching up with us.
Yeah. And I think you talked about it before too. Like we are to some extent addicted to the dopamine rush of social media. Like we go on and a lot of it's positive. Like, okay, what are our friends doing or what is happening in the world? 90% of the stuff being positive, or like what's the goofy stuff on there? Just like
Yeah.
you and I are pretty cynical. So like what's like the thing on there that's gonna like make us crack up for all the wrong reasons. And it's like, okay, you just need a little bit of a break in the day.
Right, the
And then
reprieve.
right, and then something like this happens in the middle of a workday and you're like, "Oh man, like now the day stops." I mean, like there's probably a huge percentage of the US population that just kind of like put their life on pause for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, maybe the rest of the day. And it's just you put things into perspective. You look at kind of what we do for a living and say like, oh wow, we preach this on a daily basis and stuff like this happens. Um
Planning
and
ahead, planning for your
yeah.
family, yeah.
And then you just
Planning for the unexpected, I guess, too.
yeah, and then you just have like the emotional aspect of like I want to like go and give my daughter a hug.
I was gonna say, like, when I was younger and things like this would go on,
Yeah.
I'm either people are sending it to me or I'm sending it back out. I will honestly say I am, I'm guilty of
Yeah.
spreading that kind of information that's given to me. I have reached an age where something has changed up here, and as the second I receive the information and digest it, I think about it, and before I even think about getting it out to more people, I'm thinking about how are other people going to feel about this?
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to think about other people. Praise the Lord. But
Yes, that's a
it's
big deal.
so kind of we were talking about, the office was put on hold.
Mhm.
Everyone's coming in asking if you've seen this.
Right.
And you kind of got to worry about those people because not everyone can digest information or process information the
Right.
same way. And in your leadership position at this office, that comes with other layers. You're talking to kids here that
Right.
are, soon to be reps, but they're, I don't want to call them your employees, but your team, I guess.
Yeah.
Then you have someone as young as your daughter who, how you're going to talk to her about this, if you even do, would be completely different.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
so many layers to the
And it's
processing.
hard. I mean, for people that have been on our staff for years and people that are older, I mean, we kind of fall right in the middle. Like we've experienced things like 9/11. We've experienced other things that are awful. People that are older have experienced wars and family members going to war and maybe or maybe not coming back. For the younger generation, like there hasn't been a substantial amount of stuff like this where like kind of like live trauma was caused. And there was stuff like COVID that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, I mean, it did take people's lives, but in a much different way. But just seeing this stuff unfold is like, I don't want to say that we're potentially numb to it because of the things that are just put out in film and movies and stuff like this, but it's almost like you're watching a movie, but it's real life.
Right.
And just you're like you're seeing these crazy events unfold, but it's really happening and people are not with us as a result of it. Like it's not like somebody's yelling cut and
Yeah.
everybody's okay.
We can go back to happy world.
Right.
Right. No,
And it's just it's really like kind of terrifying for me to think that like this is new. Like this is what will happen. We're not going backwards in technology.
yeah. Well, happy news doesn't sell. That's the problem,
Right.
right? I
Yeah.
think that's kind of frustrating. I would like to get to a point where we're kind of celebrating good things and positivity can, make someone a decent living, right? They don't need to be out on the front lines of a war to make a headline news
Right.
story. Um, eh, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. And again, I mean, there's all of the trickle down effects of how are people affected? What are they feeling? What have people gone through previously in their
Yeah.
life whenever they see it? How many people were at that event that now live with that for the rest of their
Yeah.
lives, where they were at something that they believed in, or they wanted to just be a part of something. They wanted to be a part
Yeah.
of community. And
D the governor, did you hear his speech
I
when they
haven't.
talked? Okay, so Governor, Spencer Cox of Utah, when he was talking initially for the first time about the incident, um, he had said, "For those of you on campus or at the event that witnessed the event, and are struggling with what you saw, please dial 988 or whatever
Yeah.
to talk to somebody." I unfortunately caught a lot of clips of this. No way. I mean, that was insane to see, and the fact that I even had the ability to see it just blows my mind. I don't like that. I mean,
No, it's
it's crazy.
right.
But um, he spoke very, very well and had a very clear message. But he did take the time to
Right.
say, "Hey, we're offering this for those who need it," and I thought that was really cool
Yeah.
because it's different. Back in the day when we didn't have all this stuff at the touch of our fingertips, we didn't process emotions the same way. Our parents are very like, rub the dirt off your foot and get
Right.
going, or
Yeah.
scrape it off and let's go.
Right.
We can see so much more than we ever could before.
Yeah.
And like to your point, this stuff has been happening. It just wasn't publicized in the way it is today. I mean, the world has had its dark side,
Yeah.
since the beginning of time. But because of the way that, the news was limited or the data or the technology was limited at the time, I mean, we didn't see all this stuff.
Right.
So yeah, maybe you could like scrape the dirt off your knee and keep going. I don't really blame people anymore for having a tough time processing stuff.
Yeah.
So the incident with Charlie Kirk, I'm saying incident, tragedy with Charlie Kirk
Right.
occurs. And what happens? It sparks outrage. It relives the incident with the Ukrainian refugee.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm saying incident, and I don't mean to minimize it, but it's just piling on. So now you're talking about the Ukrainian refugee her life was taken. And then that lands you to, well, why was she here in the first place? Well, there's a huge war going on in Ukraine for over 3 years now.
Right.
I mean, so now you got to talk about that. That takes me back to a time when I remember that you could actually go on Airbnb and pretend to rent a condo in Ukraine. You couldn't rent it. You weren't going to go there. But it was when the war started, and you could send money to these people through their Airbnb account. That was horrible for me. And guess who got on Airbnb and started checking out places to rent?
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going directly to the people. It wasn't
Right.
going to a nonprofit or something that I wasn't familiar with. Okay, but so this is my point. Like all these feelings start coming back up.
Yeah.
There are so many segues to, like you just said, you don't know what this relives for people or what emotion it can bring up. I mean, I lived in Atlanta for a period of time. The amount of times I took the train in Atlanta, it like just makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, I can't imagine having witnessed something like that or been a victim to something like that.
Yeah.
I want to be, an individual who can go and do things on my own, and I don't necessarily feel that safety anymore, or I feel a little senseless, or I could start to feel like something would be my fault if something were to happen to me because I was alone. And
I mean, it's kind of it's a very sad reality. I mean, there are times where we'll travel for work, or we'll just be out or do whatever, and like there are just things that aren't like
it's not how it was.
completely safe all the
Yeah.
time, and it's sad that it has to be like that, but there's definitely like protection in traveling in groups, or in your case, like not doing things that you want to do on your own all the time. And like I know that that's very hard for you in particular, but for
Yeah.
a lot of people. But like people need to be vigilant, people need to be safe. And it's really hard. And I think that a lot of people are really going to start to, I don't know if rethink doing large public gatherings, or just something will always be in the back of people's minds. I mean, it's happened multiple times. I mean, it happened during the election
Yeah.
at a gathering.
Yep.
It happened the other day. And it's just, if there are thousands and thousands of people in a place together. And it's happened at many like music festivals. I know that
Yeah.
like in Vegas at the Mandalay Bay,
Yep.
they had that shooting where just when large groups of people get together, it just becomes like a situation where bad things can happen. And again, fun shouldn't be limited, but it's just, it makes you rethink, and it makes me as a parent rethink a lot of things that we did as kids or even as young adults or even now
Yeah.
that I would not feel comfortable sending my daughter into, or having her and her friends go to, or even in situations like you or other advisors or coworkers
Yeah.
going and doing by yourself.
Oh, I know. I talk to you guys all the time. I love traveling. I love taking
I know.
off. And one of the things I love when I travel is like pretending like I live there, right? So I'm trying to get on the buses. I'm trying to go eat
Right.
at the local spots. Not pretending like I live there, but I want the authentic experience. Cause I mean, let's be
Right.
real. America has seemed to immerse itself in every country outside of itself. So I'm trying to get back to the roots of like, these different cultures. Uh, Stuff like this past week, all the unfolding and all the all these events resurfacing, it you know it takes a little bit out of you. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, for us, I mean, we run our own business, but we're people, and we need to kind of allow people to decompress in their own way. And it's like we're in the midst of a lot of stuff. Like it's tax filing, it's retirement contribution deadline, and stuff like this happens. Like the world doesn't care what the date is or what the deadline is. Things are going to happen, and people are going to need to process things. And that's where I think we're in kind of a, I don't want to say a unique spot, because a lot of small business owners are out there, but you need to not be the corporation at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Like you need to kind of see where people are at. You need to meet them where they are, and do what you can to provide an environment where people feel safe. And I joked. I mean, I talked to you a lot about it, and I talked to Aaron, my assistant, and it's like I I want our firm to provide more of like a family environment,
Yeah.
like just more camaraderie, more just fun stuff, where things like this are going to continue to happen. But hey, there's a community of people that care about us. We can talk about things for work. We can talk about things outside of work, and just have it be a safe place where, again, I mean, like times are tough, and especially like nobody knows what people are dealing with in their individual lives. People have passed stress, people have passed trauma, people have very different walks of life that brought them to where we're all at now. And just having a community of people that care about you, I think is so important.
I think you've achieved it, to be honest with you. I really do. The
Yeah.
fact that you started this with, hey, on Wednesday when this occurred, everyone was coming in my office. I mean, that is honestly touching. I mean, we have that community at
Yeah.
this office. We really do. And we're trying to do more group events and build off of what's already happening at this office, with the, family effect of it. But yeah, the only thing you can be doing, I think, is just keep talking
Yeah.
and keep making it an open space, which you absolutely have done at this office. We've talked about it. It's kind of like a tech vibe where everyone's hanging out,
Yeah.
shooting ideas. I mean, that's the whole intent, right? We're just trying to learn from each other too. But in that comes the emotional side. And yeah, like you said, these things are going to keep happening, and you always have your door open. And I think that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen, I mean, there's so much positive. Like we've talked on previous episodes, like all of the great things that technology has brought us and all of the things that have happened. I was joking with some of the, as we endearingly call them, the kids,
Yeah,
the other
sorry.
day, and I was like, "Oh, did people go to lunch?" And they're like, "Yeah, let me see where they're at." And I was like, "Oh, okay, they're gonna like text or call or whatever." And they open up their phone, and there was like a little like moving thing. They're like, "Oh, I have like they're like I have their location,"
Wait,
and I'm like, "What?"
we've not spoken about this?
No, I don't know if we've talked about it on here.
Tracking people is my thing.
Okay,
I have not told you about this.
I don't know, not in depth.
I've recently turned it off because it was too much of my thing. But yeah, I would check to make sure all my friends were home every evening before I went to bed, just to make sure all my little chickens were in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was like the rationale that I was given from this too. And I'm like, I'm
know.
going to look at it from the other end of being like somebody like knows where I'm at all times.
Well, the other day I told you, I said, I'll meet you here at this time, or I'll just send you my location. And you were
and I was like, I don't do that.
You're like, when you call me, I'll get the location. I'm like, but
Right.
I could just send it to you. And you're like, where?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I can't believe we haven't spoken
No,
about
like that was an
this.
interaction where like this happened and then I went back to that and I was like, oh, this is like a thing that
Wow.
even
I
my
used to
like
be like 12 people deep.
yeah. So even my like small age gap from you might
Yeah.
be that, like that might be the thing.
Thank you. Small age gap from you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So, but yeah, so that's a thing where in the moment I'm like very weird. Like I didn't get it. I had never experienced it.
News to me.
And it was like, okay, this is happening. Like fast forward to today.
Yeah. Wish
I'm
you would
like-
have it.
I'm like still very selective of who would have it, but like
Makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Amen.
Like especially in a situation where there are people that you really care about, or if you're traveling with people, or
You know someone's traveling, and where
Correct.
are they going?
Yeah.
And did they make it to the train?
yes,
I'm not gonna lie. The second the tragedy occurred with Charlie Kirk, the first question I had for myself, well, I had a couple, but were his wife and kids there? And I obviously don't have her location, but
Right.
that makes a difference to me on
Yeah.
how I feel like her time it is something I thought about. Where was that person when this happened?
Yeah. But it's just again, I mean, I think there's so many good things, so many like positives and negatives
Mhm.
to like all of this stuff that again, I mean, one day I'm like 100% out
Yeah.
on it, didn't know it existed, was like so confused.
Well, you're also, for lack of a better word, a male. So when young women go out and start dating,
Yeah,
and
right.
I'm texting my girlfriends about
yeah.
dating, or vice versa, it's let me check. Okay, yeah, I have your location. You're good. Go ahead. Go on your date.
Makes total sense.
It's a difference
It is.
for this side of the chair.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
And
it
again,
just
just
is what it is. And I
But-
hate
but
to say
no.
that out loud, but
No, but it's good because it's good to know that there are things that are in place for people to kind of have that protection. And again, like you're an adult. You don't want to be like, hey mom, hey dad, like here's my location.
and yet please ask me for it. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
But to have like a group of friends to be like, hey, here's what's going on. And
Yeah.
again, like you now you just have no clue. You've got to be hyper cautious to every single thing going on. And yeah.
It's just, but I hate, there's got to be an answer to, we can't let this change everything, right? I mean, I don't want to stop traveling. I don't want to stop going to concerts. I don't want to, not take a road trip by myself and stop at a gas station to gas up my car because I have to get to Orlando and I need gas. I don't,
Right.
we can't live in fear.
No, not at all.
But I don't have the answer because it's still too raw. It all just happened this week. So it's been a tough week, honestly, for me as an individual thinking about all this stuff. And I'm not even married. And I'm thinking about like the family aspect. I'm thinking about, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know one of his children was a girl. And then obviously the incident on the train in Charlotte was a female.
Right.
I mean, this stuff's sticking with me.
Yeah.
I used to be quite confident in myself and in my abilities to travel, and feeling like I didn't stick out like a sore thumb, and feeling like I wouldn't be a target of any sort. Just, if say you're in a rougher part of the world. But I just feel like that's such a false narrative I've been feeding myself and to some extent. And,
and that's with you with the personality that you have.
I know.
So you're already in a very, very different spot mentally than I think a lot of people are, just because of kind of the tenacity and your independence.
I'm a tough cookie.
You are.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But I think that even going to I mean, a bunch of my family members and people that are just more meek, or people that are just like, again, very, very like well respected, independent people that just don't have the ultra independence. Like there's a level of caution, and it's like that's terrible that it has to be that way. So we can't live in fear,
Yeah.
obviously. We have to continue to do things the way that we would.
Well, I
And
think for Charlie, like, I don't know him. I'm not going to speak for him, but he was going out and sitting amongst these crowds however often. I mean, every day he was taking this risk. And I think this is probably misinformation, but the likelihood that he was wearing a bulletproof vest makes sense.
yeah, so ultimately we we want to provide people a positive environment to kind of learn about business, to learn about um, finance, to learn about money, taxes, things like that. But we're people too, and I think that part of the reason why, if this becomes successful, is like because we are individuals. We're going to talk about our life events. We're going to talk about things that are happening in our world, because again, we're two people in our 30s that are like trying to figure it out like the rest of you. Like we don't have all the answers. We've worked really hard, and we've done some really cool things. We've also, like I said, we'll talk about like a ton of failures that have happened in our lives and in our businesses, and things like that. But this is just kind of us being real people today. We run businesses, we interact with other people. We feel like there's a lot of people going through what we're feeling right now, and it's not the best. But we want to be here to kind of share that with you. Like we have probably between us a couple hundred ish employees that are all kind of like looking at us like us and our partners are like we have it all together and nothing impacts us, and we're people too. So I think it's important to kind of have the personal side of this so that people kind of get to know us,
Yeah.
as well as just the financial and the numbers part. And we will joke around a lot. I think that that's something that keeps us sane, is being able to laugh and have a lot of this fun that we have together.
Yeah, and trying to offset anything that's happening in the world with
Right.
this, because what we're doing is good, and the people we're with are awesome, and um, that's something to rejoice in at this point. I guess really that'd be the right word, just to be excited about it.
Yeah. And I think to put life into perspective, like I feel like I say it to myself a lot, and I tell you very often. Like there are a lot of people in the world that would trade our worst day for their best day. And it's the truth.
Yeah,
And we don't look at that enough, and realize like how blessed we are on a regular basis with what we've built and what we've been able to accomplish. And in a split second, all of it could be taken away.
yeah,
So I think it's really important for us to kind of really look at what we've done and be happy with what we've built, and um, really just kind of continue to build this. I think that that's kind of the purpose of all of this, is when things like this happen, is we come together, we continue to work hard, we build it, and we can't let stuff like this just be forgotten. So
and to like kind of go off what you're just saying,
yeah,
for me and for a lot of people that I'm meeting, I think we're all on the same page that this is all for a purpose. This is not for our successes. This is for our purpose.
right,
There was a gentleman taken from this world that died for his purpose
yeah,
in life. And that's all I need to know.
yeah, yeah. So we really want to again give another kind of heartfelt, like loving, just anything that we can give to Charlie Kirk's family. It's just again just sad to kind of see stuff like that unfold, and really just hope that things like that don't continue to happen, and we can use a platform like this to really grow the positivity in what we do, share fun stories, have a bunch of knowledge. Unfortunately, we both know how the world works, so there will be stuff like this that happens, and we'll get through it.
Yeah.
And
We'll find something good to highlight next time.
exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. We really hope that this was helpful in kind of wherever you're at, and just know that everybody is kind of dealing with something. So we'll be a resource to people as they need it, and hopefully not just on the financial side.
I think so. Yeah. If this sparks anything in you where you were thinking about making changes in your life and you didn't really know if you had a reason to need to do it yet, and something like this event where you see someone lost, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but there's a likelihood that the gentleman that whose life was lost was the breadwinner for that family. And there's things happen unexpectedly, and you
Mm,
have to plan for the unexpected. And if there was something making you feel like you were thinking about making a change or needing to make sure everything was in place for the people you love, and something like this event happened to make you think about things differently, we're here to complete the thought
right.
also, because we understand the emotional side of it. And again, that's my purpose.
Yeah.
Um, so if this event changed your purpose a bit, changed an individual's purpose, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, all you can do is talk about it and see what you can do to not have to get yourself in a situation where you feel like this if something were to happen to you or your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Be around the people that you love. I think that now more than ever, don't take time for granted. Like, we don't know how much time there is, and be with the ones that you want to be with.
Well, thank you for giving us the time to talk about this specific topic.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Again, it's impacted a lot of people. It's something that I think is really important. And again, it impacts us in a personally and a professional way.
Yeah.
So it was definitely worth talking about, kind of in the midst of 9/11 and everything going on. It's a tough week.
Yeah.
So it definitely deserved its time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
This material is intended for general public use. By providing this content, Park Avenue Securities LLC and our financial representative are not undertaking to provide investment advice or make a recommendation for a specific individual or situation, or to otherwise act in a fiduciary capacity. Guardian, its subsidiaries, agents, and employees do not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. Consult your tax, legal, or accounting professional regarding your individual situation. Mike and Chelsea are registered representatives, and Mike is a financial advisor at Park Avenue Securities LLC, EAS OSJ 14021, Metropolis Ave, Fort Myers, Florida 33912 239 561 2900. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS member FINRA SIPC. Financial representatives of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, NY. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Alliance Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Mike CA Insurance License 0M21715. AR Insurance License 5838330. 8398158.1 expires 927.